as SignalRGB, the RGB software with ads inbuilt. Ads. Not to mention, if we go look here at SignalRGB, 10% CPU usage, 600 megabytes of RAM, and 8% GPU usage. This is pathetic. Why does it need so much? And let's look at one thing here. Now we close the UI here. Then we can go down here and find SignalRGB here. Now it uses only more like 2% of CPU, 400 megabytes of RAM, and no GPU. So what does it use all this computing power for? Well, maybe it is to load ads. It's absolutely trash. It's so stupid. They literally destroyed their own app to run ads. And that's just because that literally no one pays $5 a month for this shit, when you can just get OpenRGB. Look, I'm not meaning to trash on people that uses this. It has some features that OpenRGB doesn't. And if you don't know what OpenRGB is, go watch my video on that. And I'll set that up. So what it can do, it is that it has a better UI. The UI is better. So if you're not very tech savvy, it's more easy to use, and it has some features that OpenRGB doesn't. Some features is pretty much just game integration, but I guess that also matters. Now look at the effects here. So we have some audio visualizers, which we can actually use them, even though it says it's a paid feature, but yeah, okay, maybe there's more, I guess. But then we have all the RGB effects here. There's a pretty big library of them, so that's pretty good. There's also plugins for this program you can install, but at that point I don't see why we wouldn't just get OpenRGB. But now let's say that you actually paid for this and you install all plugins. Then yeah, it's a good program, I guess, if it doesn't still use SMod here. But apart from game integration, it doesn't really make it a better program. I think with some of the plugins you can do some things. I've not researched it that much, but there is a effects creation plugin. I'm not sure if you can make like shaders in code, but that would be a cool thing if you could that there, although I don't think so. If you are just a little tech savvy, just get OpenRGB for sake. The only more customization thing you can do on this is like move all your devices around. You can do this in OpenRGB too, but you can't do it over an animated, at least last time I checked. But then there's also that this is only for Windows. Like most people are gonna be using Windows, right? It's just me that's a diehard Linux fan. But if you very much don't know a lot about tech, sure, use this. Go ahead, right? But if you know anything about tech, you don't need it. OpenRGB will do all you need, even though this has a little better UI and can do that layout thing. And then I don't think RGB software is worth paying $5 for. So like you can change DPI and stuff here, which I guess is pretty cool. So yeah, you can't really do that in OpenRGB. But like at the end of the day, it's your own choice, and we all have our own preferences, right? My preference is just OpenRGB, and I think you have to be a very special person for you to want to use SignalRGB over OpenRGB after you tried it. Unless you consume TikTok 5 hours a day and have no attention span and it's completely shut in your head, which is most people, I guess. And then you hate everything open source, because that's also just Linux virgins that talk about that, right? So see you next time, I guess. Bye. And remember, it's not all bad. It would only lose you about 10% performance in games. At the end here, I want to say a thing. I didn't really mean to go into this and hate on the program. It's not like I dislike it. I mean, it's good exist, right? I actually went into this thinking I would do a normal review and just review it, kind of. But then it just discovered how bad I think it was. Don't get me wrong, some people think it's good. This is just my opinion, right? So sorry if I kinda offended somebody there. But really, SignalRGB is a big corporation. It's not gonna hurt them. I said something about them. They sponsored Linus Tech Tips before. I'm just so don't get hurt over them, okay?